Guys, this is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be talking about just pretty much some basic mechanics that all quarterbacks should know, all level from youth all the way up to college. Guys, this is all the mechanics that you guys should know. Pretty basic. We're just going to be starting out with our ball placement. So ball placement, it can vary for different guys, but the way I teach my guys is I want to carry this ball right on my shelf. So the shelf is the part between your ear and your pec. So nice, easy, right here on the shelf. I've seen some guys hold it in the middle. I see guys hold it too low, and I see guys hold it too high. The problem is we hold it too high, it just looks funky. We're holding this thing up here. A D lineman could swat that thing down and strip us, right? If we hold it too low, then we got to bring this long motion back to get the ball out. I want it right here, right on my shelf, so I can just separate and get the ball out. So now we got this ball on our shelf, right? Now a lot of guys, they'll have this nose turned up. Now what that does is when they bring this ball back, the nose lifts. And then when they come through, they rotate through, everything gets pushed up and the ball comes out funky, your accuracy dies. That's not what we want. We want this thing on the shelf. I don't want it so much angled straight down like this. Some guys, I see that a lot. But when you bring this ball back, it's very hard to get into our opposite equal position, which we're gonna get into later. But you want to hear slight angle down right here on this shelf. Now, even when you're working through your drop, you don't want to have this thing any lower, any higher. You just want to hold it right here on this drop, and we're dropping, so if it's time to get set, we can just get this ball out right now. So right here on the shelf, first and foremost. Now, we're going to talk about taking the ball back. So when we take the ball back, they call it opposite equal, opposite L's. You can hear it a couple different ways, but I call it opposite L. We want to get to opposite L right here. Arms at 90-degree angle, opposite. So right here to right here, opposite L angle. That's where we want to get to. We want to get from this position to opposite L. Now, from this position, everybody knows that you want to get to 90 degrees with your arm when you release this thing. Now, how you do that is you don't get to here, and then you just try to throw it with your arm, get your whole complete lower body, your core out of the frame, out of the picture, not engaged with the throw. That's not what you want. You want to get your core into this throw. So I'm bringing this ball back here. If my mechanics are clean, there's so much speed. When I rotate my core through this ball, there is so much speed there that this ball will pop off of my hands, and I'll be able to change levels. I'll be able to throw bullets in there. I'll be able to throw fastballs. I'll be able to throw a deep ball and throw some touch and drop it in the bucket. Now, we're gonna get into what they call hip and shoulder disassociation. So you wanna get your hips to the target, but not your shoulders, okay? Your shoulders want to stay back for as long as you can possibly hold it. They should be coming through when you bring this core through, okay? So you want to push. We're pushing off this inside arch of our back foot. That's where all our power is going to come from. You hear me talk about it all the time. Your legs is what's going to give you power. That's going to give you power. Your legs are going to give you power on the throw. So we want to be here pushing off this inside arch, almost like we're a pitcher pushing off this pitcher's mound, but not quite like that because we have a wide base. This wide base, shoulder width apart, we don't want to be narrow, right? That's like I'm boxing, right? I'm boxing. Boxers aren't straight up and down, they're just swinging. They got no power. They're sitting here because they got a lot of power. Same thing when we make this throw. Ball right here, sit our butt down, nice slight bend to our knees, driving off this inside arch here. Now when we drive, our front legs are GPS. That's gonna tell us where the ball's gonna go. So if I'm trying to throw straight out here, I wanna cut this target off, right? Cut my target off with this. If I'm throwing over here, left hip, left shoulder on the target, cut it off with this. Same thing, we're pushing and we're creating some torque with our hips. That's the motion that we want. Now at this same time, our shoulders are disassociated from our hips. Our hips are coming through first. Now, when we rotate our core, that's when we can bring our shoulders through this throw. But we got to make sure we keep this left arm tight, okay? It all comes together. Like your body's divided down the middle vertically and from your waist horizontally. Your body's always divided when you're throwing a football. There are different parts to throwing a football. So we want to be here pushing, getting our hips to the target, fast. It needs to be aggressive. Aggressive here. They call it the breeze walk, because Drew Brees has really good hip torque here, getting your hips to the target. That's what I want, keeping this back, opposite L's. Now when we bring our core through, that's when our arm comes through at a 90-degree angle. So coming in here, I'm throwing at the camera, pushing here, hips to the target, shoulders back. Now I'm rotating through, and when I throw this thing, I want to flick my wrist at the target with my thumb parallel to the ground and finish through. Everybody likes money. I always pretend there's money in this back pocket, and I gotta rotate, flick my wrist at the target, rotate all the way through, pull this money out of the back pocket. What that does is that replaces my front shoulder with my back shoulder, okay? Rotating all the way through to get some nice spin on that ball. Now, we're gonna talk about our lower body mechanics on the follow through. We don't wanna be here and leave this completely behind us. We wanna bring this through as well to get some rotational force on this ball. It's all about producing ground force, pushing, and then rotational force coming through with my core. That's what it's all about. That's how you're gonna be able to throw a fastball. That's how you're gonna be able to change speeds when you gotta throw up over a defender. That's the key, producing ground force with rotational force. Now, quick recap, everything that we've learned right now, because I know I'm throwing a lot of information at you guys, but if one thing can stick with you and you get 1% better, then I've done my job, okay? I just want you guys to get better. So here, carriage, right on the shelf, opposite L's. Get my hips going to the target, some hip torque, my shoulders back from the ball, rotating through with my core, coming through at a 90-degree angle because I started out in an opposite 90-degree angle. Rotating all the way through, pulling that money out of my back pocket, bringing my right leg through, starting with my left shoulder on the target, finishing with my right shoulder on the target. That's pretty much it, guys. Everything you do, quarterback position is the most mechanical position. It's the hardest position in all of sports, and I know a lot of you disagree with me on that, but it's the hardest position to play in sports because just on a normal throw, that's all the key points that you have to follow. All right, thanks for watching. Please like this video and please subscribe below.